Think scaling AI is hard? Think again. With Watson X, you can deploy AI across any environment. Above the clouds, helping pilots navigate flights, and on lots of clouds, helping employees automate tasks. On-prem, so designers can access proprietary data, and on the edge, so remote bank tellers can assist customers. Watson X works anywhere, so you can scale AI everywhere. Learn more at ibm.com/WatsonX. IBM. Let's create.
Ready to ring in the new semester? Pink's got A+ styles for heading back to campus. Made for early morning classes, midday coffee runs, and late night study sessions. Their latest looks are everything you need to pass with flying colors. We're talking tanks that go with literally every fit, parachute pants with a throwback 90s vibe, plus cute sweaters, activewear, and so much more. Shop now at pink.com or get 15% off in Pink stores with a valid student ID. Exclusions apply.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 80/20. My name's Lily. I'm your host. I'm so happy that you are here today. And I can't believe that we're already on episode 21 of season 2. That's absolutely insane. And for some reason, I just can't believe that we've already been doing this for, I guess it's been 10 weeks since the start of season 2. That's just crazy to me. I feel like time has just absolutely flown by. The summer's flying by and it's already back to school season. So I thought that I would do a couple of back to college episodes. I know that you guys love the college content. I see the demographics of who listens to the show, who interacts with me on Instagram, who interacts with me on YouTube, and most of you are about 18 to 24. So most of you are in college or post-grad life, and you guys happen to really enjoy the college advice and college content. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Before we get into the episode, I thought that I would give you guys a little bit of a life update for those of you who are as excited as I am for the SoulCycle bike. I know that I talked about this in last week's episode, but I did in fact receive the SoulCycle bike. It came on the truck. Everything was fine. Well, actually, everything wasn't completely fine. For some reason, the software wasn't quite updated. I think that Equinox Plus, like SoulCycle, the software that they were using on the tablet is what they call the screen. It wasn't updated yet, and it took it like 3 days to update, so that was a little bit frustrating. But other than that, I've been riding the bike every day, and I've given myself a little bit of a challenge. I've ridden with a couple instructors that I had followed on Instagram already, or who I just know of because they had podcasts, and so I've taken a couple classes from those instructors, but I challenged myself to just go alphabetically down the list and take one of every instructor's class so I can get a feel of who I vibe with, who I don't necessarily vibe with, because I feel like even in like a regular fitness class, every instructor has a different vibe, and you aren't necessarily going to necessarily love everybody's classes. I feel like that's the same in life too. Like sometimes you need to respect everybody, but you don't have to necessarily love their content or love what they teach or love what they do. or vibe with them necessarily. So I don't know, I think that it's going to be really fun to take one of everybody's classes and just kind of see who I like the best, and then I'll kind of get a good feel of what classes I want to take, if that even makes any sense. But I found myself just kind of scrolling through like the instructors that I know, and I was like, no, like I need to get to know everybody on this app. I need to kind of figure out what I like, and what better way to figure that out through a challenge. And I want to say that there's like 50 instructors, and I'm trying to do at least one class every single day. I won't ramble on too much. I just wanted to give a little bit of a SoulCycle bike life update for anybody who was wondering. A lot of you DM'd me on Instagram and you were like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited that it came. Like it's so fun to see you having so much fun on the bike. So shout out to you guys who reached out to me, who are just as excited as I am. And you guys know I love talking to you on DM. I'm always responding to Instagram comments and DMs and everything. I honestly have not been as active on Instagram as I have been in the past, just because I've been very, very busy recently with some exciting projects that are coming this time next month. This fall is just about to blow your mind. This time next month, there's going to be some products that can actually be in your hands, which is pretty hype. I've been grinding on a couple exciting projects, so I haven't been as active on Instagram as I like to be. So just know that if I haven't responded to your DM, I'm working on it, and I love chatting with you guys there. That's the best way to chat with me, is via DM. Okay, so without further ado, that is kind of it for the life updates. Let's go ahead and get into 20 healthy habits for college students. Habit number 1 is to start listening to your body, which sounds kind of cliche, self-explanatory. Call it what you want, but college is all about the work hard, play hard mentality. And if you don't listen to your body and be a little bit selfish, things are going to get really, really challenging. I think a perfect example of this is when you're tired, don't go out. But a lot of people feel like they have to go out because FOMO is a very, very real thing. But when you put yourself first, I think a lot of these tips are going to be very like self-care related. But when you start listening to your body, you can make the decision to put your mental health first and actually take an evening to rest, rather than going out and pushing yourself when you really don't have the capacity to do that because you feel so worn out. And then on the other hand too, like it's really important to go spend time with friends when you do have the energy to do that, you know, rather than staying in and working on a paper that you've already been writing, like it's ready to go, but you feel like it needs to have like just one more draft, even though it's in perfect condition. People either take it to one extreme or the next, but when you just slow down for a second, take a deep breath, maybe take even like 5 minutes in the morning to do like a meditation or a journaling session, and just literally feel your body, feel how you're doing mentally, feel how you're doing physically, check in with yourself, and decide what exactly you need that day, because day to day things are going to look completely different. It kind of segues into our next tip, tip number two, is to create a routine. And in college, routines are kind of tricky because our schedules are kind of all over the place. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you might be involved in like certain classes or certain extracurriculars or certain clubs. And then Tuesday, Thursday, it might be a completely different schedule. So it's really important to at least try to stick to some sort of routine when possible. So whether this is waking up and going to bed at the same time every day, or spending every Monday and Wednesday on certain classes and every Tuesday and Thursday on other classes, and spending Friday on your side hustle. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like for you, but creating a routine, or even like a morning routine that you can stick to every single day, regardless of what time you wake up, just having some sort of structure to your life is really, really going to either make or break your college experience. So I kind of touched on this already, but making sleep part of your routine is so important. I would encourage you to at least attempt to try to go to bed and to wake up at the same time every day. And I know that this is really, really hard because especially like freshman and sophomore year, you really are just kind of at the mercy of like what your friends want to do and like what gen ed classes that you can actually get into. But I think that when you make it a priority to get at least 8 hours of sleep every night and try to stick to some sort of sleep schedule, your mental health is going to thank you and your physical health is going to thank you. Next piece of advice, next habit, is to find a workout buddy. And especially if you're a freshman, the gym can be so intimidating. And the first couple months of my freshman year, I went to the gym with friends because A, it made it more fun because you actually had like a buddy to work out to, and B, it made it a whole lot less scary. And it's also a great way to find and connect with new friends. That way you're not just like sitting around in a dorm, just kind of like shooting the shit, like talking about nothing. Like you're actually doing an activity with a friend, and then you guys can kind of like bond over the fact that you both like the treadmill or something like that. So finding a workout buddy that will also help to hold you accountable is a great way to move your body, because we all know that movement's medicine. I talk about that all the time on this show. So you can sweat away the stress of college and also spend time with a friend. You could also take advantage of workout classes, and most colleges have some sort of fitness class or partnership with a local gym or offer some sort of student discounts. So finding a workout class that you love could also be really helpful because it takes the guesswork out of your workout. Habit number 7 is to walk to class. Granted, this depends on how much time you have in between your classes and how far away the buildings are, but I loved walking in college. And granted, I went to a really small school, and the furthest class away was only like a 10-15 minute walk. But walking to class was just so fun. Like I could just put my AirPods in, I could listen to a podcast, put on some music. It was kind of like a little like reset, like a time for me to clear my head, a little bit of self-care. Getting involved is my next habit for you guys. I was really lonely my first few months of college because I didn't get involved in any clubs or any extracurriculars. And that's really one of the only ways that you were going to meet people who could potentially be your friends. And yes, like you have your roommate, you could have your hallmates, but you're gonna find more solid friendships within clubs or Greek life or extracurricular activities or sports, just because these people who are in this club or sport or extracurricular already have something in common with you. So the chances of them having something else in common with you are probably higher than just like random people on your hall or like a random roommate, you know? This next habit, I guess it's more of a tip, like a piece of advice than a habit, is to leave your dorm room door open for those first couple weeks, because everybody is in the same boat. Everybody is down for the opportunity to make friends. And if you leave your door open, it's kind of like an invitation. People will just poke their head in, they'll stop by, they'll introduce themselves. And if you're just sitting in your room, just hanging out, just crack your door open, or even like put a door stopper in there and like leave it wide open, and people will come by and you can totally make friends that way. My next habit for you is to get rid of the word balanced. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get is how to balance everything, how to balance school, work, social life, relationships, friendships, family, everything. And the truth is that you don't. And I think it's funny because we live in such an interesting period of time where we all are constantly watching other people do it all, but in reality, they're not actually doing it all. You're just seeing bits and pieces of their day. So the solution to balancing it all is getting rid of the idea that you have to have a balance, because you really can't. And I would recommend that you just take it day by day. Like some days you're going to have to put all your efforts into school, and some days you're going to have the opportunity to put all your efforts into your friendships. And it's really just going to come down to your to-do list, the deadlines that you have going on, your class load, and what's going on in your personal life and what's going on in your work life. And every day is going to look different, and I can't prepare you for that. I think that, you can obviously take a look at your planner and kind of figure out how much you're going to have to give in what areas depending on the day, but I don't ever think that it's going to be balanced. Kind of going off of that a little bit, habit number 10 is to take time to rest and relax. And it's really hard to get alone time in college. And I think that that is honestly one of the reasons why I had such a struggle my sophomore year of college, because I never had the opportunity to be alone. If you listen to the show, if you know me, you know that I'm very introverted, and I need that alone time in order to recharge my battery. And unfortunately, the college system doesn't really set people up for the ability to have alone time, which is really shitty for introverted people, because you need that alone time to regroup. And looking back, I don't think that there's anything that I could have done with my situation that would have changed it. But I think that if I had lived in a single dorm room or an apartment with like a shared kitchen or a shared living room area, but still my own space to like close the door and rest and relax and just lay down for a second, I would have been a lot better off. So if you have the option, if you have the opportunity, I would recommend getting some sort of dorm room or some sort of living situation that you can sleep in a room by yourself. It's really crazy to me that we literally send 18-year-olds off to stay in a tiny little room, like 3 feet from somebody else, like a stranger, like a full-on stranger. And then there's still sorority houses doing the cold dorm, which if you know, you know, like I had to do that, and it was horrible for my mental health. It was such a shitty situation. And I just don't think that college lets you have alone time. And that's why it's so important to find different types of ways to rest and relax. And I wish that someone told me that it's okay to do things by yourself, because I was constantly doing things with friends. And if I had known that it was okay to do things by myself, whether that be like a workout or just going for a walk by myself or getting in my car and just driving around with the music up really loud for like 5 minutes or taking an extra long shower, like I would have been a lot better off. College kind of encourages you to get creative when it comes to opportunities to have alone time and opportunities to rest and recharge, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give in to this like messed up system that requires you to constantly be around people, because it doesn't work for everybody like that. And one time I was talking to a friend about this, and she told me, well, college doesn't really let you have alone time. And she was kind of saying that as if I was the problem, like how I just needed to kind of get on the bandwagon and like be okay with college not letting me have alone time. And that just never really sat right with me. So I just want to tell you that you're allowed to have alone time. And I don't know how that's going to work out for you. I don't know if you have a roommate. I don't know if you live in a sorority with like 70 girls and you can never be alone. I don't know what that alone time is going to look like, but you're allowed to have it. Next habit is to practice daily gratitude. I say this all the time, and you guys know that I'm so big on the daily gratitude, but seriously, write down a list of 5 or 10 things that you're grateful for every single day. It will make you a happier person. And if you don't believe me, try it for 30 days. Just do it for 30 days, 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for. Habit number 13 is to learn basic cooking tips. So whether this is getting a good knife set and learning how to chop veggies, or learning some basic cooking vocab like saute, bake, what a convection oven is, I think that it's just really important to know your way around the kitchen, and it's a good life skill. Kind of piggybacking off of that one, it's really important to eat well to fuel your brain and your body. College is all about the go, 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 and everyone wants to do a billion things at once, so you have to eat for success. So this is whole and real foods, and I know the college diet is a shitty one. It's like pizza and junk food and a shit ton of alcohol. But when I was in school and when I ate like that, I felt horrible. Mentally, physically, my grades suffered, my relationships suffered. I was really in a horrible place. And food can change everything. And when you start eating well, you will feel good. So you need to learn what foods work for you and what foods don't work for you, what foods fuel you and energize you, and what foods make you feel like shit. And I can tell you right now, foods that come from the ground, foods that used to have a face, are ones that are going to make you feel good, and foods that came from a package, were made in a factory, made in a lab, are not going to make you feel very good. In addition to eating well, I think having high quality, healthy snack options on hand in your dorm or in your apartment or even in your backpack is a really good idea. Like fruit, granola, high quality protein bars. I even got a blender in my dorm room freshman year. I just got one of those like little NutriBullet blenders, which was actually perfect because it was really small. And I think that they've even made blenders that are smaller than that now. But I had a really good protein powder in my dorm, and I just made smoothies every morning before class, and it was perfect. Healthy habit number 15 is to start your day with water instead of coffee. Pretty self-explanatory. And tip number 16 is to carry a water bottle around with you everywhere you go, because obviously this will encourage you to drink more water, and when you're hydrated, you feel better, you can study harder. Water is so good for you, and we don't drink enough of it. Know your limits when you go out. And this is especially important for all my freshmen out there. It's not fun for your new friends to have to babysit you. Just take it slow, and you don't have to go hard like the first couple days. Like you can kind of like dip your toe in the water, kind of feel it out, see what works for you, see what gets you having fun, see what gets you feeling good, but you don't have to go full throttle. Freshman year is weird because everybody all of a sudden has the freedom to do whatever they want to do, and they don't know how to handle it. And I think it's really, 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 really easy to go overboard on everything, whether that be like partying or even like portion sizes. Like you have to be completely responsible for yourself, and you can't put that responsibility on your friends. So I just encourage you to, of course, watch out for your friends, but you have to be responsible for you first and foremost. Habit number 18 is to find a studying method that works well for you. I personally recommend the study for 20 minutes, take a break for 5 or 10 minutes type method. Next habit is to learn how to stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. This is something that I wish that someone told me sooner, or that I wish that I came to terms with sooner, because when you just put yourself first, when you start caring for yourself first, and you stop watching Snapchat stories and getting FOMO, life gets a lot better. And last but not least, don't forget to have fun. A lot of people spend copious amounts of time worrying about gaining the freshman 15 or getting perfect grades or getting a bid to that top sorority. But I wish that I could go back and tell myself that none of that shit actually matters. And you'll pass the class. You can still eat dinner and go out with your friends and have a good time, and you can still meet your goals, and you can still have a good time in college without being tied to the Greek letters on your t-shirt. That's going to be it for today's episode. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to click the subscribe button. I post new episodes of 80/20 every single Monday and Thursday. More college advice episodes are coming within the next couple weeks. I'm doing kind of a mix of like back to school episodes plus my regular content, so be on the lookout for those. I love you all so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of 80/20. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by dropping a rate and a review. This helps more people just like you find and listen to the show. Don't forget to follow me, Lily, on Instagram. My username is @LilyRakow, that's LILYRAKOW, and follow the podcast Instagram page as well, which is 8020pod, that's 8020pod on Instagram. New episodes of 80/20 go live every Monday and Thursday, or subscribe to stay up to date with the latest.